Hey guys, I'm back with a brand new process video on how I make this walnut torte. As usual, head over to my blog CraftyEpicurean.com for the recipe and more information on how to make it. So there's 4 ingredients in this recipe. To start off with, we have 120 grams of walnut meal, 3 eggs, they are size 6 eggs, so 60 grams each. A pack of plain biscuits, I'll tell you how much of that in a moment, and 1/4 cup of sugar. Now you can make this recipe gluten free if you use gluten free biscuits. So the first step is to crush the biscuits. You can buy already pre-crushed biscuits if you wish, but here I like to crush my own biscuits. And how I do that is I get a Ziploc bag and put some biscuits inside, as you can see here, close it up and then crunch them up. So I like to pre-crunch them with my hands and then grab a rolling pin and roll them into a fine crushed biscuit mixture. I'm just going to speed up the video or the process here, because it does take a little wee while. You can just use plain biscuits here. If you want to add a little bit of flair, I guess you could add a little bit of chocolate into it as well. Alright, so these are plain vanilla biscuits that I'm using. That's what super wines are. I've used vanilla wines, and if you want to change it up a little bit, try using some malt biscuits or mint flavoured or chocolate flavoured biscuits. Alright, so how much biscuit crumbs you need is 1/2 cup. So I've crushed them and now I'm just measuring out how much I need. So if you went to a store and bought pre-crushed biscuit crumbs, you'd need about 1/2 cup. Alrighty, so the next step is to mix the walnut meal with the sugar. So I'm going to use half of the sugar, so it's 1/8 cup of that sugar, and mix that into the walnut meal. And then I'm just using a fork to mix it together. Now in my stand mixer, I'm going to add my 3 eggs. And these are 3 eggs at room temperature. And then I am going to beat them until they are nice and light and fluffy. Now that could take 2 to 5 minutes depending on how fresh your eggs are, but basically when they look like this, that's how they should look when they are light and fluffy. The next thing we're going to add is the remainder of the sugar. So you should have 1/8 cup of sugar left. I'm just going to gradually add that sugar as it is beating at a moderate speed. And that's just to make sure that the sugar is incorporated into the egg mixture really well. So I'm adding about a tablespoon at a time, letting it mix in really well, and then adding another tablespoon until all the sugar has been added. Once all the sugar is added and it's mixed through, then you want to increase the speed on your stand mixer. I highly recommend using a stand mixer in this process or in this step because it just makes it a lot easier. You want to keep mixing it until it is nice and light and fluffy and stiff like so. So just remove that from the stand mixer, and I'm just going to bring in the walnut meal sugar mix and my biscuit crumbs. Just making sure, just showing you how the consistency of the egg mixture is. And I'm just going to gently add the walnut meal sugar mixture and the biscuit crumbs. Then we are going to gently fold that into the mixture. You want to gently fold the mixture as much as possible, so to keep the air that we've just put into the egg mixture in our mixture, because that's going to give us our rise and our fluffiness to our walnut torte. So here I have a square baking tin which I have lined with non-stick baking paper. So I like to use 2 pieces like so, stacked on top of each other, to make it easier to remove the torte from the tin as well as remove the paper from the torte. I'm just pouring my mixture into the tin now, just gently into the tin until you've got all the mixture into that tin. Now in the background I've got a oven preheating to 160 degrees, and I'm now going to place that into my preheated oven and bake for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, looks like so, leave it in the tin for 10 minutes or so before removing, and then pop it out, and it looks like this. As you can see, it was easy to take out, and I can just pull down the sides of my non-stick baking paper to remove the torte. And then to serve, I just like to add a sprinkling of icing sugar like so, and this is quite, well, delicious really. You can see it is nice and light and fluffy, and it can be made gluten-free just by using gluten-free biscuits. And that's how I made this walnut torte. For more information, head over to my blog crafttyepicurean.com, and thank you for watching.